All right. Not
Nice.
bad, huh, Mr.
Nice.
Townsend? Not bad. Not bad. Looking pretty good.
Let
Looking
me
pretty
put the
good.
old specs on. Oh, there you are.
There we go. There we go. Episode 62 of StubLuv Live with Mark Townsend. Tickets from the past. Good to have you on, sir. Good to see you again.
Howard, it's good to see you, buddy. It's been almost a year, and looking forward to Chicago.
Um, we're talking again because the National is upon us. And of course, we're always excited about the National. Always excited to see everyone, talk to everyone about tickets. Mark, it's shocking to me when I talk to you each time that when you tell me that this is now your 9th National setting up with tickets, not just your 9th National set up, but your 9th National with tickets, that's like remarkable.
I see the change. I see the change from number 1 to number 9. The ticket collectors are becoming more and more. It's a lot more fun when you people are dealing with what you like to deal with, and I enjoy it.
Yeah. So talk to us a little bit about what you've seen in the way of change from 1 to 9. I mean, we're not at 9 yet. Nine's in a couple of weeks. We're actually, Mark, under 3 weeks. Yesterday I was told was 3 weeks, and I guess it is. So we're under 3 weeks. So what's the change? I mean, obviously tickets have become way more popular, but what really has been the gross change that you've seen over the years?
Boy, that's pretty much it. It seems like for myself, when I first did the first National, it was probably half tickets, half cards. Never expecting the tickets to pay the bill to get to the National. A little surprised as time has passed, and now it's pretty much maybe 2 cases of cards and 11 cases of tickets. And the card guys are just people that randomly show up and say, "Oh, look, he's got cards too," and they'll pick up a few things. But the tickets is where it's at for me anyway, and that's kind of what we like.
When you started out National 1, National 2, how many cases were you bringing of tickets versus how many were you bringing of cards?
Probably this year it's going to be like 11 to 2. And I would say the first one was probably maybe 6 to 4, maybe 7 to 3 cards. So it's a big change. When I first started doing shows way back in the day, I did the Tough Stuff shows down in Richmond. And we'd always have a case or 2 of tickets and a lot of cards. And people would sell me cards. And every once in a while, somebody would walk up because I was the only guy there that had tickets. And I bought, they'd show me tickets. And I remember one story, it might have been the first year at Chantilly when they moved from Richmond. Guy gave me 3 World Series tickets, and he wanted $300 for them. And I looked at him, and one of them was the 54 Game 1 ticket. And I thought, And I pondered and said, I'll give you the 3, and I sent it to PSA. I think it came back a 4. But this is the excitement of you not knowing what you're going to get when you're there. It's
for sure.
There's pluses and minuses on that. So
yeah. So your first National was in 2012 as a dealer.
Yes.
And you've also set up with tickets at Chantilly and the Tough Stuff shows over the years.
Yes.
You started doing the Tough Stuff shows back in the 90s?
Yes. Back when it was in Richmond. So it might have been mid 90s. I would go down. I knew another dealer up here in Frederick that would go down, and we'd have a good time. It was back in the days when you have a good time with it, and the shows were good. Tough Stuff was good, and they sold it to somebody that moved it to Chantilly, and I did that for several years until I started really doing the National, and I realized the National was where all the ticket collectors came. And for me to do Tough Stuff was to do the Chantilly show was just, it was fun, but it was kind of not a profitable thing to do.
Mm-hmm. So, crazy to think, Mark, that you were actually selling tickets as a dealer in the mid '90s.
Yeah, there's a few of us out there. Myself, it was just doing the shows, and I was more of a collector. I'm still more of a collector in a sense. Um, I'll buy things and decide, do I want to sell this? Do I want to keep it? Or sometimes you buy things with the intent to sell. But back in those days, I'd walk into a show and people would know me as the ticket guy. There's
Yeah.
a ticket guy. And if anybody had any questions, they'd come to me.
So do you still think you're the ticket guy? Because I still think you're the ticket guy.
Well, it's things change, and there's a lot of guys out there now collecting tickets and doing tickets that are probably more so than myself. Maybe I'm one of the old guys at this sense, but I probably enjoy it as much as anybody does. That's for sure.
Yeah. Yeah.
I still have that feeling inside when something hits you, like, oh, look what I just got, type thing.
I'm gonna try if I can here.
Mm-hmm.
I'm dancing with this formatting, and it's not super easy for me because I just kind of started figuring out how to do this. But so talk to us a little bit about Tickets from the Past and the website. When did you start the Tickets from the Past website?
Well, I did a job. I'm a painting contractor by trade, per se. And I did a job for a lady that lives in Ellicott City that did web pages. And
Mm-hmm.
I'd been thinking of doing a website. So we started talking and we started bartering a little bit. The next thing I know, she built me my website. And this was probably around 2000 and maybe 15, 14 time period.
Yeah.
So she built it. I started maintaining it. And I've done all the, if you've checked the site out, I do all the history and all the writing and so forth and so on. And the site's getting old. And I've been told that, eventually I'm going to have to do something with it. But it was really exciting for me to do. It's for some people, it's a therapy type thing. You're out there and you're playing with it and you're enjoying it. And you were selling stuff, and sometimes your inventory gets a little old, but it's not like cards where there's a lot of it. To go out and find a lot of Mickey Mantles or Willie Mays of the same product. The tickets are like you find one or two or three of them, and a lot of times that's it.
Wow. So you still getting sales off of the website? Still getting traffic
not
there?
as much. And I'll be honest, I don't add as much to it right now as I should.
Mm-hmm.
I come back from the National, I relax. It's funny story. So in about a month and a half ago, I start pulling stuff out. Because I have to set my display cases up and looking at what I've got to move. And I'm finding stuff in my boxes that I got from the National that I forgot I got. It's like, oh, where'd this come from? And it's like just finding new treasures. So that's kind of where I'm at with some of that website stuff. But
Yeah.
every once in a while, I do add things to it.
So I guess I have to bring it up since it's become a rule of kind of ticket collecting. We've heard it on Mike and Sean's show, the Townsend Rule.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, the Townsend Rule is an important rule. Tell everyone, if you would, what the Townsend Rule is.
Wait a minute now. On that thought, I better have a little sip.
That's great.
So,
you can't be on one of these ticket shows without a margarita.
No, you cannot. This one's a little jalapeno margarita. It's very nice.
Was that your creation or is that a Linda creation?
Well, this one's probably a little of mixed creation.
Okay, we'll take it. We'll take it. So
yes.
what's the Townsend Rule, Mark?
Well, back in the day, I forget how it came about, but somebody said, what are you bringing? What are you selling? And the rule was, well, if I bring something, I'm bringing to sell it. So the Townsend Rule is, if it's at the show, it's here to be sold. It's not here to be looked at. It's here to be, make me an offer if you see something you like. I may not say yes, but the rule is if it's here. Wait a minute. I see somebody walking in the room. Hang on 1 second.
Uh-oh. Uh-oh.
My other half.
Wow, there she is. How are you, Linda? Good to see you.
Nice to see you. Nice to see you.
The brains behind the operation is online.
Uh-oh. Don't be putting out my secrets.
So good to
forward
see you.
Seeing you all.
Yes, so nice to see you. So thank you for coming on, Linda. So the rule is you don't bring something to the show unless you're looking to move it.
Correct. If you see it in my cases, it's there to be sold. It's not there to be, looked at. You might see a price on it. It's like, oh, but if it interests you, let's talk. That's the kind of what I look at.
I gotcha. So we talked a little bit earlier, you and I, and kind of game planned a little bit of the show. I guess you have one of the things you were talking about, whether it fit into the Townsend Rule or not, was a Koufax perfect game ticket that you picked up. Yes. And you were kind of thinking about, do I sell the Sandy K perfect game or do I not sell the Sandy K perfect game? Is that making it with you, my friend, to Chicago this year?
It is not. It was in the case. And I was looking at it, and I'm looking at it. I think, man, if I sell this, a piece of my heart's going to disappear because it's a really nice card. I mean, really nice ticket. So I said, no. I said, I can't move this. So I pulled it out, and I said, well, I'll replace it with something that's not quite as touching to me, but still a Koufax that's a very high-end card. And if you want, I'll show you what I'm bringing in.
Yeah. Let's see what you got there.
So this is Sandy Koufax Immaculate game.
Immaculate inning.
Yes, Immaculate inning. How's that? Good for
it looks good. Yeah. I can kind of see it. It's got a little bit.
It's a PSA 7. It's the highest graded one out there. And in this game, Koufax was going to lose the game. I think the final score was 3-0. And the Cincinnati pitchers had a no-hitter going into the bottom of the ninth with 2 outs. And Frank Howard got a base hit to break up the no-hitter. The Dodgers lost 3-0. But still, it was only 3 have been graded by PSA.
Wow, rare ticket. So you're not going to bring the perfect game, but the Immaculate inning hits the showcase.
Will be there, yes.
Okay, all right, good. So let's talk a little bit about the history of the Nationals. When we talked, and I was kind of shocked, Mark, when you said this, but you thought as a dealer in tickets that your best National was in 2022 in Atlantic City. Yes. And it's funny that you say it, Mark, because I think everyone kind of thought that was a fairly poor National. That people didn't like the location. I mean, Atlantic City is rough. I think people were a little scared to kind of venture out into Atlantic City because of the way the place looked. I went, I thought it was fine, but, I stayed with family most of the time and, I really wasn't exposed to it. And then I also heard that a lot of the dealers didn't think they really did all that well. So it's kind of striking for you to say that was your best National.
It was tickets, and a lot of ticket collectors showed up for that show. I think maybe part of it is I had a table that had 3 sides instead of 2. So I was able to expose more. And me just saying that, I was only there for 4 of the 5 days because we both caught COVID. So on Sunday, we were gone. I got the promoter to let me leave, which we had to haggle a bit, but he was good with it. And so I missed a day, and it was still one of my best shows ever. And I think about maybe what sales I might have lost from people that were going to come back and looking for things that they'd seen, and maybe wanting to barter a bit or whatever.
You're talking about on Sunday, and you weren't there. On Sunday,
yes, yep. And I did talk to some dealers the next year, and some of them said they had good shows as well. So
okay.
It was, I think, the COVID, the money, people being kind of stuck indoors, kind of helped maybe some. Hard to
Yeah.
say.
You may be right. And, I just got back from Fanatics Fest. I went just to spend a couple of days there. And a lot of the dealers, there was only 250 tables there, said that they did really well. And I think that they did really well because there was a lot of that, New York, East Coast money. And I think that may have translated into Atlantic City. I think you had a lot of high-end collectors with a lot of money drive down from New York and from other areas of New Jersey to Atlantic City, and they were spending at that show.
Yeah. You figure AC is probably a 2-hour drive from downtown New York, and you get a lot of that New York, Philly money that would come into town, and being the Nationals not that on the East Coast that often per se.
Yeah.
So that probably helps some.
Yeah. I think we talked a little bit last year's National, a slight disappointment, but still pretty good for you.
Yes.
You said you did well. Had a ticket that I think you said acquired at the National, and then did you sell it at the National as you were like leaving? Someone bought it the day after, and that kind of really helped make your National.
I got a phone call on the way out of the National. I'm on leaving Cleveland, probably just hit I-80, heading towards Pittsburgh when somebody had an interest in one of these tickets I just picked up. It was a Carlton debut ticket. And we haggled a bit, and I got back home, shot him photos of it, and he said green light, he wanted it, and the sale was made. And I picked up the ticket the last 2-3 hours of the show. And it was a guy had coming back and forth, and we had haggled a bit, and we hit a number and made the purchase. And
that's great. That's great. That's great. Always great to buy something there and be able to still turn it. And, it still counts as a National sale if you sell it before you kind of get in the door. It
was one of these things when I was bringing it home before the phone call, I thought, well, this is a nice ticket. So in my mind, it was like, the National is good with sales, but it's also good with sometimes you pick things up and you bring it home. And it's like, do I keep it? Do I sell it? This is nice. And in this case, I didn't really have the option because the guy wanted it, and I'm still in National mode. It's like I'm sell mode, I guess, and so I sold it.
Do you have a lot of people at the National, Mark, come up to you with like boxes of tickets or tickets that they want to sell in bulk? Or
sometimes, yes, and sometimes they do, and they want to sell, and sometimes they do, and it's just show and tell. I had a guy show up 2 Nationals ago with probably 200 Brooklyn Dodger tickets from 56, 57. Almost every game there, raw, some doubles. I know he had the last game of Jackie's, a couple of them there. He must have been a season ticket holder or something. He lays them on my case, and I'm like, well, what do you want to do with this? Oh, I just wanted to show them to you. My mouth kind of dropped. I'm like, well, would you like to sell a couple of these? Oh, no, I'll get back to you. And
wow.
I never heard from him again. It's like,
yeah. But I'm sure people, you've got a great booth. You got the big sign, the tickets from the past sign stands out in the room. It's a great sign. It's really, you do a really nice job, you and Linda, with the booth and managing the booth and running the booth. I guess I would think that, people probably bring boxes of tickets and they just try to unload them, but maybe I'm wrong. I'm not a dealer.
Sometimes they do. And sometimes you have to look at what's in the box.
Yeah.
I had a guy in Chicago do that to me with a bunch of hockey. And I'll be honest, I'm not real up on hockey.
Yeah.
But we looked at it and I bought it, and there were some things in there besides hockey, and it turned out it was good for me.
Good.
But you just don't know. And in the National is a lot of times for myself, I don't have time to research, boxes and boxes. So you throw a number at them, and a lot of times if they look at you like you're crazy, and that tells you they kind of know what's in their boxes.
Yeah, that's true.
And
that's true. So we talked a little bit in pre-gaming the show, Mark, about the fact that you're going back to Chicago and I'm going back to Chicago, and all of us are going back to Chicago 3 years in a row.
Yes.
And there might be a slight concern, not maybe this year, but at year 3, that maybe collectors are a little tired of Chicago. What are your thoughts? Yes, no?
Well, yeah, I think you're going to get a little bit maybe of the fan base that's in Chicago, maybe get a little tired of the same vendors, 3 years in a row. You'll get the same group of people show up, like our ticket guys, Booger Stubs folks, that will have a good time.
Yeah, of course.
The dealers, maybe hard to say. I'm just a little leery of it. Won't know till it happens. So I'll just keep my eyes open and, good thoughts, and we'll see what goes on.
Yeah, remain positive. Everyone will be positive. I love Chicago. I think it's a great venue. I think it's a phenomenal place for the National. But I'm kind of with you, Mark, and I've heard Mike Violi say this too, and I agree with him. I think the National should move every year. So every other year it should move. If they want to make Chicago, the host city one year and then it moves and then back to Chicago and then it moves, I'm fine with that. But the 3 years in a row, I don't know. I think I like a little bit of the variation in the travel. I actually really enjoyed my time in Cleveland last year. I didn't love the fact that we had to stay downtown and drive in every day. That was a little bit of an annoyance. But other than that, I thought they put on a great show. I had a great time seeing everyone. There's some discussion, I think, Mark, about after the 3 years in Chicago, it's either going to be Detroit or Atlanta.
Yes, and we're going to vote on it, I think, on Friday morning, Saturday morning, as we get our booth for next year's Chicago show. We'll decide we're going to go to Detroit or Atlanta. And to me, they're both about, the same hotel-wise and position-wise for the convention center. Atlanta's probably a little better based for everybody, more than Detroit would be, up in the middle of nowhere. Well, I won't say nowhere, but up there in the corner of the country. So I guess if I have to put my vote in, it'll probably be for Atlanta.
Okay. Yeah, I think if I were voting, and I'm not, you probably are, I'd vote for Atlanta. Yeah. It's just real close to us here in Florida, real easy to get into. Detroit, I've been to Detroit before. The airport's beautiful in Detroit, a very new and modern airport, but it's further. I think there's a time change there for me, where in Atlanta there's not. So I just kind of look at all of these things and just say, probably better. Rob Pagan just typed in Atlanta. Let me see if I can show the comments on the stage. And let me hit show. Yeah, Atlanta. I'm for Atlanta too. So now I don't know how to get rid of that comment. Man, oh man, that's funny.
Well, you're live right now, right?
So I got it. I figured it out. But yeah, I'm for Atlanta. So I hope Atlanta wins out. And then, if we go back to Chicago the year after that and then pick somewhere new, I'd be happy with that. Orlando. I'm shooting for Orlando.
For me, Chicago, Detroit, it's kind of all the same area. Stay in Chicago if we're going to do that, because it's only like a 2-hour drive to Detroit. And folks from Detroit can come down to Chicago, but the hotels around the Chicago Convention Center are great. It's probably the best in the country for that.
Yeah, I agree with you, Mark. So let's go through the itinerary. Couple weeks from now, 3 weeks from now, less than 3 weeks from now, you are going to leave your home in Baltimore on Sunday morning. So the Sunday before the National, and you and Linda will drive the entire day on Sunday. And I think you told me the stop that you will make is that night in Indiana.
Yeah, we'll probably go 3/4 of the way there. For us here, it's about an 11-hour drive. And we've done it once before where we went straight through, and it was a mess because we hit Chicago about 5:30 in the afternoon, and you don't want to hit Chicago at 5:30 in the afternoon.
Yeah.
So we figure we stop, we'll spend the night, hit Chicago maybe 2:00, beat the rush hour, get ourselves situated, go down to the steakhouse, have a nice little meal, and get ready for Tuesday morning where we'll go up, set up early, probably be ready to run by 2:30 Tuesday afternoon. I think the National is going to throw a little happy hour type thing for the vendors. They did it last year. We had free drinks, free food. Last year we were eating and drinking, and I look over on a bench and I see this guy sitting there, and I looked at my wife and I said, Linda, that looks like Pete Rose. He's just sitting there by himself. And she goes, he looks like him. So I walked over, sat down next to him, started talking to him, and we talked for about 5 minutes. And I could see when I was talking to him that he did have security kind of watching what was going on. And we talked about Koufax and his history and so forth. And we got done, and I thanked him, and got up and left. And
Nice.
it was really nice. Just it was very like he was just Joe Blow sitting there. It wasn't like anything special.
What a good experience. What a good memory.
Nice.
Yeah. So you probably get in Monday, you set up Tuesday, you're
Tuesday
ready
morning.
Ready to rock and roll Tuesday afternoon.
Yeah.
Do you actually get, dealers and people come by? Is Tuesday a good day for you, like with other vendors?
Well, it's on Tuesday. You got to get the thing set up. You get your carpet down, you're getting your tables laid out, your cases on it, clean the cases, putting the inventory in the cases. You're really concentrating on what goes where. People come up and they want to look at stuff. And of course you're nice and you show, but you're really not in the mindset to sell on Tuesday. Maybe 2 o'clock on Tuesday when I'm sort of ready, I'm ready. But 11 o'clock in the morning, probably not so much. And because there's just a lot of commotion going on.
Yeah.
And you kind of keeping eyes on everything as all the dealers do. And
understood.
Yeah.
So Wednesday, kind of really the first.
Wednesday morning, man, I'm ready for the dealers. I'll have Wednesday morning. Dealers will come by, because you're all laid out. They'll be picking and choosing if there's something they want.
Yeah.
Which is nice. And I'll be out there doing the same thing. I get everything laid out and I'm done, and I'll tell Linda that I'll be back in 30. I'll be back in 20. I got my cell phone if you need me, and I'll be scooping things out because I don't get a chance to really scoop much out once the show starts.
Yeah.
Except for maybe in the morning before it opens, I can kind of run around and look, but that's about it.
So you're in booth 1733, 1733. You're actually pretty close to the PSA area.
Yes, actually, if you were in Chicago last time we were there, we were up there in a corner where they had the tarps and it got real hot. Well, we're sort of back up in that neck of the woods, but PSA's there. You would walk past PSA, and I have a table where usually it's a quad table where you got 4 on a square. There's only 2 of us. So I've got 3 sides instead of 2. And I'm sort of in the back. I got a lot of space behind me for people to hang around and talk, and, ticket boys can do what they do. We'll have our big sign up, so you'll find us real easy. You find PSA, you'll find us. That won't be a problem.
Yeah, you're the sign's great because you're an easy mark. I always find in the show, once I kind of have a general idea where you guys are set up, it's certainly a place that I like to congregate and I like to go. I think you also said, Mark, you like Chicago because everything's kind of like just self-contained with the food and the hotel, and you kind of park your van and you leave it, and you don't really have to touch it. Whereas Cleveland, it was the van every day back and forth.
Every day. Yeah. No, in Chicago, you park it and you don't start it up again until you leave. We're in Cleveland every morning. You had to get in the van and drive to the convention center. And the first day of the show, for the normal drive time was about 15 minutes from the hotel, which was one of these hotels that the convention that the National said was their host hotel. We got close to the convention center. There must have been 20-minute line to get in, and we had to get in the line. It's like, oh man, didn't see this coming. Or Chicago is just get out of the hotel, walk across the street, and you're there. Which is very nice, and all the eating places are right there. We'll go into downtown Chicago on Friday for the meet and greet with the ticket boys, and we kind of plan our week where we want to eat so we got places to go. And Linda's
Yeah.
good with planning, so she does most of that stuff.
Good for you guys. Should be fun. Got to show some tickets, Mark.
All
You're
right,
here to
all right.
show us some tickets. So what are you gonna have for sale in Chicago? Give us at least a little taste, just a little taste.
So, I'm going to have a lot of World Series. I'm going to have some debuts, some innings, events and type things. But one of them will be something I picked up this last year is a Drysdale debut ticket. It looks like a pass, but it's dated for the date, April 17th. And if you can see the header.
Yeah, I do. Yep.
So that was a really nice find. A lot of World Series. This is something that I've never brought to a show before. This is Game 7 of the 1924 World Series.
Wow.
This is the only one that's the highest grade that's out there.
What a beautiful ticket, Mark.
It is. I'm living in this DC area. It's something that a lot of people like to look at. Here's something that I've got two of, so I'm bringing one of them.
The Lamar Jackson NFL debut and the real ticket.
The real ticket.
I don't think I've ever seen one, Mark.
Now, this bad boy was mine, and I'm selling it only because I've got one that's a little better. But this special ticket was at the game, was in plastic, was all sealed nice and tight. It was going to come back a 9 or a 10. I mean, this is a pretty ticket.
Yes, I
remember.
I remember this story, Mark.
All game.
Yeah.
I get home from the game. I open up my rainproof Ziploc bag, and I got that much water in the bottom of the bag. My mouth went. I got 2 tickets. So I slide them out, and it's like, dry them out, and I send them PSA. And but
that looks good, Mark. That ticket looks real good.
The corners are nice.
Yeah, I mean it still looks really great. That's a rare ticket.
It's a nice ticket. I debated on whether or not I wanted to bring it, and I said, "Yeah, I've got 2. Let's bring one."
And that's also Josh Allen's debut as well, correct?
It is, yes.
Yeah.
And they both played. At the time, you really didn't know. I think 2 years later, C.J. Stroud played opening day here. I got 2 tickets for that. I think I've got one that will be at the National.
Wow, that's a big one.
And that one didn't get rained on, so it's a pretty nice grade.
That's a big one, Mark. That's huge.
So here's one that's for my Yankee fans that we'll be bringing.
You got to pull it back a little bit. Oh, first game as a manager, McCarthy's first game as a manager. Wow, that's a great ticket.
Babe Ruth hit a home run. I think it's 588.
McCarthy's debut as the manager.
Yep,
wow.
Yep. PSA 4. It's a toughie.
Yeah.
And I'll show you one more. This is one that I wasn't sure I wanted to bring, but I thought, well, let's just see where the market is on something like this.
Jimmie Foxx final game.
Final hit. Only 3 graded.
Wow.
This is the highest grade. It's a PSA 6. There was 10,000 people at the game. I'm not sure he knew he was going to retire. Back in those days, they didn't know they were going to retire. Where nowadays, it's like, this is it, my final concert, my final game. I'm done with it.
Yeah.
Speaking of concerts, we'll have one display case with music.
Very cool.
And we'll have one non-display case because I don't have any space for it. They'll have no hitters and all-star game tickets. So if you're looking for that, ask me. I'll have them with me, and hopefully, as we sell things, we integrate that into some of the cases.
And Mark, are you going to have your stacks of tickets and the rubber bands that are
there'll be 2 raw cases of tickets which we haven't pulled out yet, but I know they're going to be pretty full, and there'll be a lot of new things in the cases. I like going on the base sometimes, and somebody will have something for $6, free shipping, and it's like buy.
Yeah.
Especially if it's something that's somebody might have an interest in. Like a home run ticket here or a home run ticket there or win ticket or music ticket per se.
Well, Mark, I am so excited to get to Chicago, to get to the National, to see everyone. I'm going to tell everyone who watches this, Mark Townsend is a good guy. I have bought high-end tickets from Mark. We've done some very, pretty big deals. I've also bought, you sip it. You enjoy that margarita. I've also bought some things out of the bargain, raw, rubber band wraps, and I found some good stuff in there that I need. So
everybody has.
Yep.
I could tell a story about one person that's probably watching the show that found something that he's looked at me like, you got this way underpriced. And I'm like, well, I charge you more for it then.
Yeah, you never know what you're going to find in there.
You don't.
And it's just a good place to be, which is Mark's table. He treats everyone with a lot of respect. I really like him. I like Linda. I always try to give them some business at the show if I'm able to. So it's certainly for any ticket collectors out there who are new to the National. This is going to be your first National. You got to check out booth. Let me make sure I get it right. 1733. You'll see the big tickets from the past sign up. You'll see Mark. You'll see Linda. And they'll both always take really good care of you.
And if you got things you're looking, you're not sure what it's worth and you're not sure you want to sell it, I'll give you my ideas of what I think it's there. And, I'm open-minded on that thing. It's not always about trying to get something for something. It's make the hobby what it is and enjoy it, because that's what we do. And I've done this I was doing card shows back in the early 80s, and the mall shows where 707 would be there. And because on the East Coast, there wasn't that much going on. So I set up one time and I had Steve Carlton opposite me in the hallway. I mean, 5-6 feet from me. And my son was like 7 or 6. And I'd send them over to get an autograph. And Carlton's agent would come over to my place and want all my Carlton cards in case people wanted autographs on them. And just a lot of history that you learn, you see doing all these shows. People you meet. Stan Musial in the hallway of a hotel. He's walking past me. I looked at him. He's got his Sunday best on. I said, "Good morning, Stan." He says, "Good morning." And he keeps on. It's like,
it's good stuff. Good stuff. Well, Mark's going to have a plethora of tickets. It's a must see. He's a must booth that you've got to go to while you're at the National. Again, booth 1733. Mark, I really, really do appreciate you coming on. I always appreciate having you on before the National, giving you a little publicity and making sure that everyone stops by. So thank you for coming on.
I appreciate it very much. You're a good guy. You do good stuff. Is this your first live show?
No. I think it's the third. So it's number 3. Man. Number 3. No, but you're good, Mark. You're good. It was our first real live show where we're talking to a dealer at the National. So I'm really excited. So
thank you.
Yes. Episode 62 of StubLuv Live with Mark Townsend, tickets from the past, is over. Thank you very much, my friend. I appreciate it.
Thank you, sir. Take care.
Yeah.